I've taken you through a journey of changes you could make in your organization. So what could you expect as a result? Well, you need to figure out exactly what you want to achieve. And remember, you can't get all these changes to happen at once. But from experience and the case studies we've seen so far, we can see you can generate year-round income by creating some unique products and diversifying your markets. You could also improve the quality of your service. So we've seen how you could create year-round jobs to give your business the opportunity to retain good talent and to reduce recruitment and training costs. We've also seen case studies where you could maintain your mid-season prices by essentially increasing the quality, variety, and attractiveness of your offer, so in winter you become less price dependent. We've also seen how you can improve your service and you can make it consistent throughout the year. You don't have to offer a lower service in the winter because you've got fewer staff or because you don't have the economies of scale to offer you full range of services. We've seen how the winter is a fantastic time to empower you and your teams to become more creative. You recharge your batteries, you test new things, and all these things you've learned, you can then use them for your high season as well. And finally, we've seen how this is a great moment to increase consumer loyalty. You give them the chance to know that you are there for them, that whenever they need a break, your business will be open, and that you're not just open in a half-hearted way, but you're actually genuinely providing the full range of benefits that they need. So to do all this, what's best than to see some examples? This particular example from France showed us how they work particularly hard on the winter capacity. They develop infrastructure and they made sure that their questing center, their water complex, their quirky accommodation, their tree houses, the variety of things they've managed to integrate within one large-scale resort has meant that we now have a better opportunity to provide year-round jobs for many, many more people. And this has meant that at the end of each year, we don't lose that knowledge. We don't have that kind of a brain drain, but instead we've got people that are able to stay year on year. And therefore, the following year, we're much more ready to improve and to deliver higher level of service as a result of having this consistency. We also saw these spa cabins in the trees, a really unique product that actually did particularly well when it came to sales the moment they created gift vouchers. The gift vouchers were typically gifted around Christmas or on birthdays, and it meant that people that had never consumed that product or would have never considered to go went, and also because much of the gifting happens around Christmas, many more of these bookings happen in the earlier season. Clearly, this also helped by the fact that they had these outdoor jacuzzi areas. So they managed to create a personalized sense from those gift vouchers that otherwise would have not been there in the first place. So as you think about this, create space, and this is my final task for you today. Okay, think about how you're going to prioritize and what will you take away from this manual and use it in your organization. The first thing I recommend that you do is that you consider the list of objectives you just saw at the beginning of this last presentation and think, what's the most important and what's the least important? How do I reorganize them? Please don't pretend all of them are important, because if you give yourself 7 tasks, you will do 0 tasks at the end of the day. Then go back and reflect on your practices. Switch off email, switch off your phone, and write down innovative things you have done recently. And identify which of the 6 objectives above those new things you have done contributed towards, and ask yourself, how successful were you at achieving some of those? The reason why I suggest that you do this is because very often we are very, very self-critical with ourselves, and we don't really realize all the amazing work we're already doing. Move on and then identify one example from the previous case studies that you've seen in this manual, and then think, how could I adapt that to my business? We've deliberately chosen case studies that you can do something with. We've chosen case studies that are not having to be particularly costly, but things that you could basically adapt in your own context. You just need some creativity and imagination on how you'll do it. So start with the thing that requires the least amount of effort, and only when you've done the easiest thing that you could do, you move on to the next thing, and so on. Create a space where you can make a list of tasks, what you need to do. And think about how will you replicate that example with that to-do list. The more you write it down and the more you're able to go back to that and use it as a self-checklist, the easier it will be for you to not deviate and just become concerned with something that is urgent and that gets in the way of something that is important. Schedule time in your calendar for doing the tasks that really matter. Okay, make sure that you protect that time from other things and make sure that it's a realistic plan. Okay, anybody who's had a New Year's resolution knows how easy it is to make plans that you don't see through. So as you put together a plan on how to implement this, you are your worst enemy, and the ability that, or the capacity that you've got for letting things creep in and get in the way of actually getting the important work done. If you find that you got a calendar and you fail to do something at one point, make sure you never fail twice. Get back on that horse and go and do the work yet again. And share your plans with somebody else. Psychologists tell us that you having a buddy, somebody else that you'll do this with, and that both of your businesses will try to do these activities at the same time, is much more powerful than you trying to succeed on your own. I hope that the content that we have shared with you in this manual has been really useful, and I wish you all the best in your activities to make your business more resilient, more successful, more sustainable by implementing off-season sustainable tourism experiences.